Welcome to another BCHS Live production here on BCHS Live, online on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, as well as on local access cable channels EPB Channel 19 and SCRTC Channel 97. Remember that BCHS Live is a member of the Burgundy Media Network, and you can check out all proceedings of the Burgundy Media Network online at www.burgundymedia.net. Now here's BCHS Live.
Superintendent Matthews, members of the program, Barren County alumni, officers, and board of directors, honored guests, friends, supporters, and others in the audience, good evening. I'm Bill Walter, the Regional Vice Chancellor at Western Kentucky University for the Glasgow campus, and I will serve as your Master of Ceremonies. I bring greetings to you on behalf of WKU President Dr. Timothy Cavoni and WKU Glasgow Chancellor Dr. Sally Ray. We will recognize a few people that are here with us this evening. I would ask Jackie Knuckles, the tireless and dedicated Barren County Alumni Director, and the officers and directors of the Barren County Alumni Association to please stand and allow us to recognize you. We know you work tirelessly on behalf of the association. If you were previously inducted into the Hall of Distinguished Honor, would you please stand and be recognized? Do we have any inductees here? This evening we are privileged to induct 6 outstanding individuals into the Barren County Hall of Distinguished Honor and present scholarships to a large number of deserving students and teachers as well. Tonight's ceremony is all about success and promise. It's about the success of those former graduates who have gone on to achieve greatness in their respective careers and have brought credit upon themselves, their families, and this great institution. In addition, it's about the promise of those students with us this evening who are about to graduate and further their education, and the creative and caring teachers who have supported and encouraged them along the way. Indeed, it's a night of celebration for all of us here this evening. We'll begin our ceremony with the presentation of colors by our very own nationally accredited honor unit with distinction, the Barren County High School Army JROTC, followed by the national anthem, which will be sung by Chase Samuels. Tonight's color guard consists of the following Barren County High School student cadets: Cadet Command Sergeant Major Mackenzie Martinez, Cadet Captain Wesley Liverman, Cadet Captain Christian Merritt, Cadet Lieutenant Mason Smith. Chase Samuels is a 2017 Barren County High School graduate and currently a music education major in the prestigious School of Music at Western Kentucky University. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the presentation of colors and remain standing for our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you sing by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous
may be seated. For opening remarks this evening, please welcome one of the strongest and brightest superintendents in the state of Kentucky, our very own Superintendent of Barren County Schools, Mr. Bo Matthews.
Thank you, Bill. Very kind words. On behalf of the members of the Barren County Board of Education, Barren County High School Principal, Mr. Brad Johnson, I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome each of you to Barren County High School and our campus on Trojan Trail. There have been many changes on the hill since it was a farm in the early 1970s. While you will notice several additions over the years to buildings, facility upgrades, programs, one thing that hasn't changed is our commitment to our students. We put them at the forefront of the decision-making process. Our staff love our students and desire for each one of them to be a success in life. Tonight is a very special evening. We have a blend of the past, the present, and the future. I know each of you will enjoy learning about where life's journey is taking each person that will walk upon this stage tonight. We want to thank each of you for being present and in the moment. Thank you for being part of this evening and for being part of the Barren County School District family. Thanks for supporting all that we do. God bless.
At this time, we'll pause for a moment as Barren County alumnus Gary Wilson offers our invocation.
Will you bow with me, please? Our Father in heaven, we come before you now in prayer to thank you for blessing us with another day of life. Another day with the privilege of serving you as a part of your wonderful creation. Thank you, Father, for each one who's here today. We thank you for this school and the role it plays in this community. We're happy to be able to gather here today to honor a few of our fellow Barren Countyans and to celebrate their accomplishments. As we do, we thank you for their abilities to do great work, both in their chosen professions and in their service to community. We pray, Lord, that you will continue to bless them in their work. Bless us all that we may be a blessing to all around us. This is our prayer in Jesus' name. Amen.
For the remainder of the program, we'll alternate between honoring inductees and awarding scholarships. For the inductees, once I've read your introduction, I ask each of you to come forward for the presentation and a photo with Superintendent Matthews, after which you're welcome to make a few brief remarks. For the scholarship recipients, I would ask each of you to come to the stage when your name is called for a presentation and a picture with Mr. Matthews. Finally, at the end of tonight's program, we would like for all of our inductees and scholarship recipients to come back to the stage for group pictures by the Alumni Association and the media. We welcome family members and friends to take pictures at that time as well. Our first inductee into the Hall of Distinguished Honor this evening is Danny Basil, graduate of Hinesville High School, class of 1968. Danny Basil is the son of the late William and Dorothy Basil and one of 4 children raised in Barren County. After attending Hinesville, Slick Rock, and Eastern Elementary, Danny graduated from Hinesville High School in 1968. He achieved a GPA of 3.927 and named salutatorian of his class. He was president of the FFA and won the state public speaking contest in 1967 and the state swine impromptu speaking contest in 1968. He was also the starting center for one of the best Hiceville High School basketball teams to ever step on the hardwood, winning 17 games during his senior year. Moreover, Danny met Marla Dawsey at Hiceville High School, and they married in 1970. Danny attended the University of Kentucky and was a commander in the Air Force ROTC. He received one of only 2 Air Force ROTC Distinguished Military Graduate designations awarded and graduated with distinction from the University of Kentucky in 1972 with a commission as a second lieutenant in the United States Air Force. Stationed at the Air Force Human Resources Laboratory in San Antonio, Texas, Danny's unit received the highly coveted Air Force Outstanding Unit Award, and individually, Danny received the Air Force Commendation Medal. While stationed in Texas, Danny earned his real estate license and began a master's degree program in business administration at the University of Texas, a program he would later complete at Western Kentucky University. Following his return to Barren County, Danny farmed 300 acres and was a timber buyer for Dickerson Lumber Company. Danny graduated from the University of Kentucky College of Law in 1981 and began practicing law with Ryherd, Richardson and Patton Law Firm here in Glasgow, and started his own practice in 1983. He served as the Barren County attorney from 1985 to 1990 while farming, operating a dairy, and running a lumber company owned by him and his son, Scott. Danny taught business law at the WKU campus in Glasgow and practiced law with his son from 1997 until his retirement in 2012. Currently, Danny stays busy serving on the Glasgow-Barren County Joint Planning Commission and the Board of Adjustments, and he has rejuvenated some oil wells that have been out of service for some time. Looking back over his long and successful career, Danny credits his success to his wife, Marla. Former Barren County Judge Executive Woodford Gardner worked closely with Danny in private practice, and Danny's term as Barren County Attorney coincided with one of his terms as Barren County Judge Executive. So they also worked together politically for 4 years on administration of county government. Woody said he is especially proud of his friend Danny and his accomplishments over the course of his long and diverse career. He went on to say that he has great respect for Danny, admires his many achievements and accomplishments, and values his friendship dearly. Jeff Jobe, the owner of Jobe Publishing, has known Danny for 15 years. Jeff and Danny said Danny is well respected in the business community of Glasgow as well as across Kentucky. He referred to Danny as a solid friend and a good neighbor. Not the best neighbor, he quipped, but a good neighbor. Danny and Marla live in Glasgow, where he enjoys time with friends and family. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me as the Barren County Alumni Association welcomes Danny Basil into the Barren County Hall of Distinguished Honor.
Broke the camera.
I just have a word or two, and I promise to be very quick. I want to mention how things have changed, because in my present condition I have experienced a few more years than most of you, and I can tell you some things that might surprise you, and it may not. And then I want to mention how things have not changed. First, I want to say that when my first day at high school, in the first grade, as a 5-year-old, I rushed out to the playground and climbed up on the sliding board. And the first thing that happened was there was a yellow jacket nest underneath the sliding board, and they just came out and covered my face. Well, as a 5-year-old first grader, my face was all swelled up, and everyone would look at me and say, "Ooh," and turn away. But there really was no help there. There was no school nurse. There was no one to say, oh, let me do this or let me do that or take you to the doctor or whatever. So I just went through the day and got on the bus and went home and came back the next day, swelled up the worse, and went through the day. So back in 1955, that's the kind of the way things were. In the 4th grade, we moved to Slick Rock. And I don't know if you're aware, but Slick Rock was a fairly primitive facility. We didn't have plumbing, and we had coal stoves to heat the building. And I don't know if you could imagine trusting a 5th grader or a 6th grader with matches to build the fire in the coal stoves of a morning, but that's what I had the opportunity to do. So every day I built the fire in the coal stoves as a 5th grader and a 6th grader, and carried the matches, and the building's still standing now. So you know we didn't burn it down, but the likelihood of trusting a 5th grader or a 6th grader with the matches is pretty slim. But on top of that, myself and the rest of us, especially the boys and probably the girls too, we all had a pocket knife. Now, I don't know how many kids today can bring a pocket knife to school, but it was pretty normal back then. I remember one of the times that I got in trouble because of my pocket knife was we were making these little guns that shoot rubber bands with a clothespin, and you put the rubber band on the front and pull it back. And the only place we could get wood was to rip a little slab of wood off the outhouse. And I did this a time or two, and Mr. Riddle, who was our principal, but also our 5th and 6th grade teacher, he kind of traced it down to find out who was doing that. And he came to me and he took me out there and he said, "Did you do this?" And I said, "Yes, sir, I did." And he said, "Well, you shouldn't do that anymore." And that was the end of it. Little transgressions were handled differently. We made it through. The thing that we evolved into was a great organization of people who were willing to do what it took to keep this country running. I want to take just a minute and honor 2 or 3 or 4 that I remember specifically that went to Vietnam and didn't come back from high school, and one from Temple Hill that I knew well, Rex Harlow. But from high school, we had Eddie Kingery, we had Johnny Bailey, and we had Herman Armstrong. Went and didn't come back. They were, like the rest of us, willing to serve our country and do the things that we felt like we had been raised to believe was important. Regardless of how you felt about Vietnam, you served your country. And I had some thoughts a few years ago that maybe the country was going in the wrong direction. And I had the most refreshing experience 2 years ago when I was in my race for the legislature. I went down to the high school here, and I had the pleasure and opportunity to sit on the floor with an arena full of students. And I have never seen a crowd that was as quiet and respectful and attentive and dedicated. And I knew that everything was going to be okay, because they were there. They were right. And they were the kind of people that will carry this country forward in the way that I was taught at high school, and in the way that I know Barren County is teaching their students today. And it's certainly something to be proud of, and it certainly made an impression on me. And I am honored, and I thank you. I thank the county school system for the opportunity to have the education that we have, and it is invaluable. Education, you know, and I know someone else said this before I did, but it's a tide that floats all ships. It raises us all. It raises our neighbors. It raises our community. It puts us in a better position to make decisions on whatever board we serve on or wherever we happen to be in the community. And it gives us a background and a place to put our foot, to have a place to push from. And it's the core. Our teachers are dedicated. They give, and they give, and they give, and they continue to give. And we take that and have to go forward with it. And hopefully we can make them proud with what we do with with what they gave us. Thank you all very much. Mr. Walter, thank you.
At this time, I would like to invite Marcia Filippi and Amanda Elrod to the podium to present the Barry Britt Memorial Scholarship. Marcia and Amanda were very sisters.
Amanda and I are here tonight to honor or to award the Barry Britt Scholarship. There is no better way to honor Barry's memory than to help further a student's education. It doesn't seem possible, but Barry will be gone 10 years in June. He was dedicated to education, his staff and students, and there is no better way to honor him. And this year's recipient of the Barry Britt Scholarship is Matea White.
Next, Luke and Katie Davis will present the Sherry Davis Memorial Medical Scholarship.
The Sherry Davis Medical Memorial Scholarship is given to a senior who is going into an area of the medical field. This year, my sister Katie and I are honored to present this award to a child that we've known her family for a very long time. Her mother worked with my mother for 20 plus years, so we've had the honor of knowing her for a long time as well. And in her own words, and I'm using what she wrote in her application here, it says the additional funding for school would be great, but it would mean so much more than that to me. So at this time, on behalf of my family, we are honored to present the Sherry Davis Medical Memorial Scholarship to Miss Sarah Skaggs.
Our next inductee into the Hall of Distinguished Honor is Charles Wesley Campbell, Superintendent of Barren County Schools from 1993 to 2000. Charlie Campbell and his 7 sisters were raised by a single mother near a small river town in far western Kentucky along the Green River in a town called Rumsey. He graduated with honors from Calhoun High School in 1961, earned a Bachelor of Arts in Elementary Education from Western Kentucky Teachers College in 1965, and his master's degree in Rank 1 in School Administration at WKU as well. Charlie began teaching in Livermore, Kentucky before moving to Bowling Green, where he met and married Danny Thomas in 1966. He was promoted to several administrative positions until becoming superintendent of Crittenden County Schools in 1978. As a result of his success there, Simpson County Schools recruited Charlie in 1982. His continued success caught the attention of Barren County, and in 1993, Barren County, at the time a district confronted by one of its most challenging times in its history in the areas of finance, facilities, student enrollment, and other areas, successfully lured Charlie Campbell to become its next superintendent. Charlie's impact in 1993 was swift and powerful. He brought an air of excitement, creativity, and enormous energy to the schools and to the community. He turned what had been excuses into opportunities, and then challenged administrators to think creatively and bring solutions, not excuses. In return, he empowered them, provided resources for them, and was their #1 cheerleader throughout his tenure. Over the years that followed, new approaches were adopted, new materials were provided for teachers, professional development expanded, and expectations were explained and monitored. All of a sudden, a 10-year projected wait for the first new construction project was reduced to 1 year. After the new Barren County Middle School opened in 1994, then immediately following, new schools were constructed at Red Cross and Hiceville, followed by more new construction in Park City and Austin Tracy. The transformation was unbelievable and swift. Literally hundreds of Barren County students choosing other districts were now coming home, and parents of students from other districts were making Barren County schools their first choice. And the Kentucky Department of Education officially identified Barren County schools as a growth district. Schools labeled in academic crisis by the state were now demonstrating success. Regional, state, and national recognition came to Barren County schools. There was a renewed sense of purpose and pride. Butch Canny, a retired Ohio County superintendent and one of the many mentored by Charlie Campbell over the years, praised his former mentor. I was able to work under Charlie's leadership in Warren County and served with him for a number of years while we both served as superintendents, said Mr. Canty. Charlie was one of the most respected superintendents in the state of Kentucky, and I have great respect for him and a sense of appreciation how he helped me and countless others. After retiring in 2000, Charlie's success only continued. He started a consulting firm, served as an interim superintendent in several districts, and provided oversight for the construction of a brand new high school here in Glasgow. The list of appointments and service outside of education goes on for Charlie. And though he is quick to defer credit or praise to those around him, Charlie Campbell had left his mark on public education in Kentucky and Barren County. Charlie and Danny have 3 children, Julie, Kevin, and Marie, and now they are both retired, and they split their time between Bowling Green and Destin. And regardless of where they may be, they are always enjoying many grandchildren. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me as the Barren County Alumni Association welcomes Charles Wesley Campbell into the Hall of Distinguished Honor.
I won't be long. I wrote it down. I had to write it down so I wouldn't talk aimlessly. But I do want to thank the committee, the Alumni Association. Thank you so much. This is an honor that I never thought. I've attended many of these, and I never thought it would come to me. I always thought you had to be a Barren County alumni to achieve this award, and I guess I did spend more time in the Barren County schools than most graduates, because I used to go home from the office and I'd go to Red Cross Elementary when it was being built, and that was my path home, even though it was way out of the way, because I was so proud of that building going up, and so I did spend a lot of time there. Another reason I didn't think I was deserving of this award is I have never accomplished anything by myself. There are so many in this room that contributed to my success, as well as the success of the Barren County schools. I have to name a few, and even though I'm going to leave some out because there's many more that that I don't name that are here today. Bobby, I saw Bobby Steenberger. Thought I'd throw that in. He's been an influence for me too. Dorothy McCubbin, Bud Terry, and Bud, if they haven't purged me, I might vote for you too. Bill Walter, Ronnie Dole, Jane Bowman, Sarah Vincent, Benny Lau. This was an unbelievable administrative team that I had, and they were all in the central office. And there were all the support staff that were in the central office, and all the other employees in the school system, great principals and great teachers that we had. Those all went to help me succeed. Also had board members. I cannot leave them out, even not calling them by name. We had a board here that had a strategic plan, and they didn't waver from it. When I would have a board meeting and bring up something to add to the program, they said, "How does this affect kids?" No, that's the kind of board you had, and I think that's the kind of board of education you still have. Another group I want to keep in mind and thank is my family. To be in a profession that I chose to be in requires a big sacrifice of your family. My wife, Danny, has been my rock and my guidance system. Thank you, Danny, for all the years that you've helped me. My children also deserve some of this credit because the time neglect throughout the years it takes a toll on them. Kevin, one of my sons, or my son, I have two daughters and a son. My son is here tonight. If you and get to know him, he's a much better man than I am. Thank you all, and Bill, I can't say enough about your introduction. You can tell why I was successful by just knowing what Bill wrote. He can do the job. So, Bill, thank you very much. God bless all of you. God bless Barren County Schools. Thank you very much.
Our next scholarship is the Alan Dawsey Business Scholarship. Mr. Dawsey's son, Stephen, and daughter-in-law, Hannah, will make the presentation.
Good evening. My name is Stephen Dawsey. I will be presenting my father's scholarship, the Alan Dawsey Business Scholarship. He unfortunately couldn't be here tonight. Our recipient is Caroline Billingsley.
Thank you all for being here.
Our next inductee into the Hall of Distinguished Honor is Deborah Faye Mitchell Cruz, graduate of Barren County High School, class of 1981. Deborah Faye Mitchell Cruz grew up in Hinesville and graduated from Barren County High School. She played basketball, ran track, and participated in speech competitions. She was a member of Beta and Future Homemakers of America, which is now FCCLA, received her state degree in FHA, and voted most likely to succeed in high school. She graduated in 1981. Deborah shared that after I had surgery and lost a child, I wanted to know more about surgery and what happens in surgery. That desire led her to Bowling Green State Vocational and Technical School in the Surgical Technical Program and graduated in 1988. Then Deborah worked at T.J. Sampson Community Hospital for 11 years. She took more classes and earned her Certified Surgical Technologist certification and the Certified Surgical First Assistant certificate. She continued night classes at WKU Glasgow and graduated with an Associates of Science degree in nursing in 1997. Deborah worked then with Drs. Reddy and Lesenberry in surgery for 13 years and took more classes, earning her Certified Nurse Perioperative Room certification and Kentucky Certified Surgical Assistant certification from the Kentucky Medical Board. She also became an adjunct instructor for South Central Kentucky Community and Technical College, SkyCTC, teaching anatomy and physiology and medical terminology to future allied health professionals. Dr. Jimmy Eisenberg, the SkyCTC Health Campus Director and Dean of Allied Health and Nursing, appointed Deborah Program Director, Coordinator, and Instructor of the Surgical Technology Program at SkyCTC in 2013. Looking back, Dr. Eisenberg said, "Deborah has always been one of the most energetic individuals I have ever known, or with whom I have ever worked." He went on further in his praise by offering this: "I've truly seen that Deborah is all about the success of her students and the overall success and protection of the public in training students to become safe and efficient medical practitioners." Deborah received her rank of Assistant Professor in 2016 from the Kentucky Community and Technical College System and is now working toward her Associate Professor rank. She continues to give back through professional associations at both the state and national levels. And as you've read in the program, she received award after award after award throughout her career. She lives in the Goodnight community with her husband Charlie, and much like her amazing collection of awards and recognitions, the number of organizations to which she volunteers and supports is just as long and as impressive. Deborah said that her mission in life is to be a positive and productive role model by teaching, encouraging, supporting, and helping others. Her message to our Barren County High School scholar recipients who are with us this evening: dream dreams. Remember that dreams do come true. To quote the country song sung by Tim McGraw, she said, "Always be humble and kind." In closing, Deborah said, "My freshman year, I was voted one of the classmates most likely to succeed. My classmates saw something in me that I didn't see in myself at the time. Throughout my life, there were times I didn't think I would live up to that vote. I can finally say I feel like I succeeded. Who would have thought a materially poor but rich in heart girl from Highsville would grow up to be inducted into the Barren County Hall of Distinguished Honor?" Ladies and gentlemen, please join me as the Barren County Alumni Association welcomes Deborah Faye Mitchell-Cruz into the Hall of Distinguished Honor.
I don't know what I could add to what he just said. He's made me cry. I'm not a good speech maker. I did have a good speech teacher, Miss Sybil Doty, but I never had to make speeches. I always did the storytelling part. So that was a little bit easier, and I could probably stay up here all night and tell you all kinds of funny stories, but I'm not going to keep you very long. The first thing I'd like to say is I want to thank my good Lord above for blessing me and my family to have the life that I have. I'm glad He gave me a big heart to care for others and love others, and sometimes that gets me in a little trouble. I'd like to thank the Alumni Committee and Jill and the association for thinking I'm worthy of this honor. To me, this is probably one of my all-time favorites because it's more like a lifetime award instead of just a certain recognition at a certain time in my life. And I want to apologize to my English teachers because I did make A's in English, but I don't speak perfect grammar. In fact, they make fun of me a lot, and one of my co-workers, he calls me Barren County. And I worked in Louisville for a little while, for about a year while I was still here, and they would all come running, listen to this girl talk. They just couldn't understand that I was from the country. I see a lot of teachers I had growing up, And I'll miss some of you, so I won't say everybody, but Coach Reed, thank you so much for track, field. I threw shot put and discus. I wasn't too good at basketball, but I tried. Miss McCubbin, thank you for the home ec. I've always loved her. I loved home ec. And even though I was a little bit of a tomboy and wished I could have played football, I still hung in there with the FHA. There's just a lot of people that I could thank, and it would take me all night, so I just want to pick out a few. First, my husband, Charlie, who has to put up with me. That's a pretty hard thing to do sometimes, and he's always supported me in everything I've done. My grandparents, Emma and Alfie Thompson from Highsville, who are now deceased, they taught me about God and the love of family. With not having very much material things, you only need love. To my dad, who's no longer with us, and my mom, who's here with me tonight, Ramona Faye, for teaching me right and wrong with very strict discipline and love. To my brothers, Tommy Mitchell, Troy Robertson. You know, everybody says, I got the best brothers. No, I got the best brothers. I don't know what I'd do without them, and they're always there for me. Thanks to the Barren County school system, I wouldn't be what I am today without coming to school here. For the teachers that you have here, and I've had throughout since I've been going to school. To my class of 1981, thank you for helping me make me who I am today too. I do have to speak about one special teacher, and she came from high school, and she was here at Barren County, who I probably admire more than just about anybody, and that's Miss Carrie Newberry. I know a lot of you guys probably had Miss Carrie Newberry, but I just loved her. I don't know what else to say. If you ever had her as a teacher or ever was around her, you know what I'm saying. Again, thanks to TJ Sampson Community Hospital for giving me an opportunity to work there and take care of a lot of you. You may have been in surgery, and I took care of you, and you didn't know it. I got to help deliver a lot of babies, so a lot of these students here, I know I was in on that too. I'd like to thank WKU for being close to home, to have an education. I didn't have to go very far to do that. I'd like to thank Sky CTC for my education there. And I do have a special thanks to Dr. Jimmy Eisenberg for giving me this opportunity. And also, one of my nursing buddies that we went to nursing school with, Mariah Harris, for telling me about the job at Sky CTC. I can't imagine my life being any different than it is or has been. I love what I do and the opportunities that I've had in life. In closing, there's two things. First, please get your mammograms. It saved my life last year. And the last thing is a quote from Rick Warren that sums up my thoughts on life. The purpose of your time here on earth is not primarily about acquiring possessions, attaining status, achieving success, or experiencing happiness. Those are just secondary issues. Life is about love with God and with other people. You may succeed in many areas, but if you fail to learn how to love God and love others, you'd have missed the reason why you were created. Thank you very much.
Dr. Jerry Ralston will present our next three scholarships named after Joe and Alice Elliott, and Philip Napier, co-director of Barren County Academy of Virtual and Expanded Learning, will present the fourth, including the Joe and Alice Elliott Mathematics for Magnet Seniors, the Joe and Alice Elliott Mathematics for Information Technology, the Joe and Alice Elliott Mathematics for General Education, and then Mr. Napier, the Joe and Alice Elliott Mathematics for Babel.
I'm presenting as Mr. Walter said, the Joe and Alice Elliott scholarships, the first three. The first one, Joe and Alice Elliott BCHS Mathematics Scholarships, goes to Hannah Huffer. She's not here tonight, and if I could read Sarah Vincent's writing, Hannah has been accepted at 8 colleges. She was unable to attend because she is attending a meeting at UK as part of her decision process. So let's give her a big hand. Our second Joe and Alice Elliott BCHS General Education Mathematics Scholarships goes to Sierra Coffey. Sarah, would you come forward, please?
Congratulations, Sarah.
And the last scholarship that I have is Joe and Alice Elliott BCHS Information Technology Mathematics Scholarship, and that scholarship goes to Jacob Finn.
Well, good evening, and as Mr. Walter said, my name is Philip Napier, and I'm one of the co-directors of BAVL. The recipient of the Joe and Alice Elliott Mathematics Scholarship for BAVL goes to Judah Cashin. Judah is unable to be here this evening, but I'd like to share with you a little bit about Judah's story. So during the summer of 2013, Judah and his family from the western region of our state contacted the BAVL office to discuss opportunities that were available through our program. And while he was very successful in the traditional school setting, Judah and his parents were seeking something more. Something that allowed Judah to embrace his independent style of learning, which, just like for other students, made BAVL the perfect fit. In 2004, BAVL began with a vision to meet the need of a population of students outside the walls of a traditional school. And today, BAVL is the state of Kentucky's premier provider of online courses, serving nearly 400 students grades 6 through 12 from across the Commonwealth. Entering BAVL as an 8th grader, Judah has worked tirelessly, completing a full load of online courses. I'm sure he would be the first to tell you that taking courses online is not always easy. It takes a great deal of self-discipline, self-motivation to balance completing courses in a non-traditional fashion. In addition to completing online coursework, Judah is very involved in community service, working alongside his dad through outreach opportunities. But Judah's hard work has paid off because he will be graduating as one of the top students in his class. Judah has been accepted to West Kentucky Community and Technical College, majoring in MIT Electrical Technology. I, along with the other co-directors of BAVL, are happy to present Judah with this scholarship. And although Judah is not here this evening, he will be here in Glasgow to be with the other nearly 30 students that will be participating in the BAVL graduation ceremony held at the Plaza Theater on June 2nd. So on behalf of Judah and all of us at BAVL, we want to thank the Barren County Alumni Association and the Education Foundation for including BAVL students in tonight's recognitions. Congratulations, Judah.
Our next inductee was to be Karen Davis, but we extend her apologies. She and her family could not be with us this evening, so we'll be postponing that award. Our next group of scholarships are the Excellence in Learning Scholarships and will be presented by Dr. Jerry Ralston.
Each year we present scholarships to teachers or custodians or administrators, employees in the Barren County school system that show innovation and sustainability in projects that they might have or be interested in applying for in the district. This year we had 4 winners. Kerry Reed was awarded $500 to purchase yoga exercise mats for runners in his cross-country program. Coach Reed is here tonight. We have Starla Buckley, a Park City Elementary teacher, that was awarded $500 for a checkout center for math supplies. Debbie Sherby of Temple Hill Elementary purchased books for The Way of the Warrior Kid, and LaToya Drake was awarded $500 to purchase supplies for her garden project at Barren County Middle School. Let's give them a hand. Thank you.
Our next inductee into the Hall of Distinguished Honor is Brandon Greer, graduate of Barren County High School class of 1998. Brandon Greer is the son of Tony and Dr. Rebecca Greer. He attended Eastern Elementary, Temple Hill Junior High, and graduated from Barren County High School in 1998. He maintained perfect attendance and honor roll status for his entire 12 years of school. Brandon said, "Playing sports at Barren County, I was taught many life lessons that included mental toughness, hard work ethic, and discipline that I still use today." Brandon received a Bachelor of Science degree in Agriculture Biotechnology from the University of Kentucky in 2002, and as you read in the program, he met Stacy Chapman. The two were married in 2003. Next, Brandon graduated from the prestigious University of Louisville School of Dentistry with cum laude academic honors in 2006. Brandon completed the oral and maxillofacial surgery program at the University of Louisville School of Dentistry, completing his medical degree in 2009 and his general surgery internship in 2010. When he completed the oral and maxillofacial training in 2012, Brandon's long and challenging educational journey, which began in 1998, came to an end, and his medical career began. In 2014, Brandon created Greer Oral Surgery, serving the greater Owensboro area, and in 2016, he expanded his practice to Bowling Green, where he opened a second office in a brand new, beautiful facility on Lovers Lane. Brent Billingsley, a local CPA who was a former classmate and a good friend of Brandon, said Brandon was a model for other students to follow. Brent said, "Whatever Brandon does, he wants it to be the best, and he won't stop until he succeeds or achieves the goal he set out to do, and he himself always sets the bar high." Many would wonder, why put yourself through such an extremely difficult, long, and demanding path to an education? However, for Brandon, the decision came rather early in his life. Having family members in the dental field, I've been exposed to the dental career all my life, he said. I would say that during the first few years of high school, I had decided on pursuing a medical and a dental career. Once in dental school, I became exposed to my current profession and decided that is the career choice for me. Kentucky Representative for the 23rd District and former Barren County teacher, coach, and administrator Steve Riley, who is known by most as Coach Riley, is not surprised by his former basketball player's success off the hardwood. Coach said he saw Brandon's potential while he was a student athlete at Barren County High School. Brandon was an extremely hard-working student athlete, praised Coach Riley. It was apparent early on that Brandon was very focused on both short-term and long-term goals. I really enjoyed coaching Brandon and am not surprised by all of his successes. I know his family is very proud of him. Perhaps it is because of his path and the experiences he's had during his own journey that Brandon offers sound advice for those students with us tonight. Never sell yourself short, he offered. as you are capable of achieving your dreams with hard work and dedication. Stay focused on the main goal and why you want to accomplish it, as there will be many trials along the way to test you. Brandon is quick to credit others for his success in education, business, and life. Brandon said he was blessed to have been influenced by many great friends, staff, teachers, and coaches in the Barren County school system, and he would not be where he is today without them and their guidance, and for this he is extremely grateful. Brandon is enjoying a career for which he has made great sacrifice to achieve, and he is using his profession to serve others and give back to his community. Brandon and Stacy have 2 children, Weston and Willow, and they live in Bowling Green. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me as the Barren County Alumni Association welcomes Dr. Brandon Greer into the Hall of Distinguished Honor.
Wow, it's hard to follow that up. I also wrote down a few topics here, so I wouldn't forget anything. But first of all, I just want to echo the comments that were made already about this being such a privilege and honor. Every point along my way, every step that I've made through school, this is probably one of the highlights of my career. And it's great to come back and see so many the teachers and educators and coaches that have taught me along the way and gave me this dedication and perseverance for me and my life decisions. And I'm extremely grateful for you guys for that. Thank you for the Alumni Association for this great honor. It really is truly an honor. This is kind of a little nostalgia coming back to this auditorium. I can vividly remember 1998, the last time I was on this stage, was given a speech for my basketball award ceremony. I had the same haircut. I had more hair, but the entire team had the same haircut. So if you guys ever get to see the composites from the basketball teams, check that out. There's one guy that had hair. I'm not going to mention who he is, but you'll be able to see the picture. In the beginning, like the story was going, Eastern Elementary, I had some great experiences there. I'm going to remember a few of the teachers and mention them. But Miss Betty Hammer, she was known as one of the most hard-nosed teachers you'll ever meet in your life. The students, as kids, used to make up stories to make these people seem like they were, evil and witches and things like that. And she was sharpening her teeth with a number 2 pencil, and she had a paddle that had electric voltage through it, and she would spank you with it. And of course, none of that was true, but it sparked fear in the eyes of the students. And I'll tell you, that's really, I think, the point in my life where I knew what true discipline was. And I'll tell you, when I graduated, or when I was in high school and graduated high school, my mom would still make candy, Christmas candy, and I would deliver it to her house and sit down and talk with her for hours about just life. And, that was one of those things I definitely remember. It was a great opportunity for me to do that. Temple Hill was another great experience. I was the last class of 8th graders that graduated from Temple Hill. We had some great sports teams. Coach Terry over here, I'm sure, remembers those years very well. Again, lots of great experiences. Again, hard work, good ethics, dedication, that served me well through life. And of course, Barren County High, I wouldn't be where I am today without all the teachers and coaches that have been part of that. And again, I'm extremely blessed, and thank you guys for that. Let me think. Okay, so lots of thanks that I need to give, and I'm going to start with every one of us needs to thank the Lord above for where we are, for taking breaths every day, and I'm extremely blessed to have Him in my life. Thanks to my parents and grandparents, you all have lifelong support, and I really appreciate that. Thanks to my wife, she put up with a lot. She stood beside me through a lot of tough life decisions, late nights studying, hospital call. it's a very hard road when you're married and trying to go through those type of educational things. And she stood by me, and I appreciate that. Thank you for blessing me with 2 beautiful kids and one on the way. I'm very, very thankful for that as well. I have some best friends from Barren County. We all probably have friends that we keep in close contact with. One of them, I'm going to pay some money for this part that Mr. Walters was just discussing. Brent Billingsley, he's a great friend of mine. I have some, lifelong friends that I still, my best friends today through Barren County. And honestly, a lot of the teachers are, at one time they're your role models. But I see them more as colleagues now, and it's good to see everybody and be able to catch up. And that's very important. And that's something that Barren County is really known for. I mean, you don't go out in life and come back and all of a sudden you just see strangers and they kind of nod their head at you. I mean, you'll sit down and have conversations about your friends and family, and everybody knows everybody. And that's the beauty of this school system. So never take that for granted. I also want to thank teachers and instructors. Without all that knowledge and then, surgical success and things like that along the way, not just in the Barren County system, but even further along in my educational career, I wouldn't be where I am without their guidance. I'll say also, I want to thank, from a professional perspective at this point, I'm going to thank my patients, and it's coming twofold to me now, coming back to the Bowling Green area, which is where my office is now, but I'm starting to see in my office a lot of familiar faces. I'm seeing kids of people that I went to school with and doing procedures. And to me, there's nothing more fulfilling than caring for the people that cared for me all through my life. And I'll never take that for granted, and I appreciate each and every one of you. If I have seen you as a patient, or if I will see you as a patient in the future, it does mean a lot to me. And lastly, I want to thank the Barren County school system for the foundation for success and the many lifelong memories. Again, I would not be the person I am today, and I would not be on this stage if it wasn't for every teacher that I've crossed paths with and coaches. So thank you guys for that, and thanks again for the award. Appreciate it.
At this time, Marla Stewart, the daughter of Carol Furlong, will come forward to present the Carol Furlong Memorial Scholarship.
The Carol Lee Furlong Memorial Scholarship Fund was established by my mother, Jeanette Furlong, in 2009 in memory of my dad. My dad was the first college graduate in our family. Furthering one's education was very important to him. He was also very proud to have been a student, a teacher, and a principal of not just one Barren County school, but actually 2. Park City and Temple Hill. So it is with honor that I present on behalf of the Furlong family the Carol Lee Furlong Scholarship to a very deserving young man, Brandon Reed. Congratulations, Brandon, and may you have continued success.
Dr. Ralston will return to the podium to present the Henning Nursing Scholarship.
The Henning Nursing Scholarships are given away or presented each summer during the year, and these 2 scholarships were given away during the summer of 2017. The 2 recipients were Mary Ivy, and Mary is a second semester junior in the WKU nursing program working on her RN degree. She plans to continue pursuing education in this field to become a nurse practitioner. The second recipient was Whitney Eisenberg. Whitney is now finished with her RN degree and working full-time at T.J. Sampson Community Hospital in the step-down ICU unit. She's planning to begin work on her Bachelor of Science nursing degree. Neither one of these could be here tonight, but I believe we need to give them a big hand for getting the scholarship.
Our next inductee into the Hall of Distinguished Honor is Stacy Nicole Chapman Greer, graduate of Barren County High School class of 2002. Stacy is the daughter of Steve and Darlene Chapman. She has a brother, Jeff, and sisters Lauren and the late Stephanie Chapman. She attended Austin Tracy Elementary School, Barren County Middle School, and graduated from Barren County High School in 2002. Stacy's name was a regular on the honor rolls throughout her years at school. She was an active member of several clubs, played fast-pitch softball, and was a member of the dance team, serving as captain of the team for 2 years. Stacy remembers several teachers fondly, teachers who had a huge impact on her both in and out of the classroom, such as Miss Bartley, her art teacher, who was an inspiration and helped her refine her fine motor hand skills. Mrs. Walden, her chemistry teacher, and Mrs. Blevins, her calculus teacher, made sure I was adequately prepared for college, she said. Then there was Miss Leftwich, who was a great help in getting scholarships, guidance, and applying for college. Finally, Stacy credits Mrs. Michelle Crabtree, her math teacher and dance coach, and Dr. Amy Allen, her dance coach, in the development of her leadership skills, perseverance, responsibility, and maintaining a positive attitude. Dr. Allen said she's not surprised that Stacy was selected to the Distinguished Hall of Honor. She said she was intrinsically motivated and worked extremely hard to turn her goals into reality. She was mature beyond her years and saw obstacles as opportunities. Stacy never shied away from challenges. Instead, she embraced them. Stacy was dependable, a leader among her peers, and the epitome of positivity, beauty, and grace. Michelle Crabtree felt Stacy was a blessing more to her than she was to Stacy. Miss Crabtree began, she is a strong, caring woman that has worked through adversity to be where she is right now. I have the utmost respect for her and admire her for setting and reaching her goals professionally. Stacy was never one to back down from a challenge. Stacy is a very special woman, and it was a privilege to be a part of her journey. While at the University of Louisville, Stacy married whom she describes as her soulmate, Brandon Greer, in 2003. Stacy graduated from the University of Louisville with a bachelor's degree in biology in 2006 and continued to pursue a career she has wanted since she was in the 6th grade at Austin Tracy Elementary School, to become a dentist. Why dentistry? Stacy said, my orthodontist made a huge impression on my life by giving me a beautiful smile. And from then on, I knew that I was destined to be a dentist. In fact, Stacy encourages the students among us this evening to follow your dreams just as she has done. She said that if you put your heart into all that you do, you will succeed. Stacy joined Brandon at the University of Louisville School of Dentistry, graduating again in 2010, where earning her doctorate of dentistry degree. Dr. Stacy Greer began her dental practice at Simon Dentistry in Bowling Green, where she continues to live her dream every day. Like others tonight, Stacy's won many awards, and she received enormous recognition for her accomplishments during a journey that began at Austin Tracy Elementary and continued at Simon Dental Practice in Bowling Green. However, Stacy said, I've accomplished many things, but I'd have to say that my greatest accomplishments call me Mommy. As you know, Brandon and Stacy have 2 beautiful children, Weston and Willow, and they live in Bowling Green. Stacy said she hopes to be remembered as someone who cared immensely about God, family, friends, her patients, and her community. She credits her wonderful parents, Steve and Darlene Chapman, who she said have always taught me to follow my dreams and believe in me. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me as the Barren County Alumni Association welcomes Dr. Stacy Nicole Chapman Greer into the Hall of Distinguished Honor.
First of all, thank you to the Alumni Association. I am honored and humbled to receive this award. I wasn't expecting so many sweet comments to come from so many people that I knew. There are a lot of people that have helped navigate my path to success. First of all, I'd like to thank God. I wouldn't be where I am today if it weren't for Jesus leading and guiding me. Second of all, my parents, they have always been shown unconditional love, support, and encouragement for me in every obstacle I faced. I can't remember a game or competition or academic event that they weren't at, cheering me on. My mom even sat through a 4-hour board examination in dental school as my patient. It was a very long day for her and for me. But next, I'd like to thank my husband. He has always been loving and supportive, encouraging, and understanding. As he said, you know, being in school together was very hard. There were many, many, many nights that we were in separate rooms studying our own thing. Of course, he had already been through everything I'd already been through, so that was wonderful for me. If I was ever studying and didn't understand something, I could just go to the next room and say, hey, can you explain this? So it was great to have a wonderful teacher there in the house for me. We've been married almost 15 years this year. I can't imagine this journey without him. Lastly, but certainly not least, I want to thank the teachers, faculty, and staff from Austin Tracy, Barren County Middle, and Barren County High School. They always strive for their students to succeed. Their dedication, compassion, and concern for their students is unparalleled. And it's evident in their efforts that they put forth, such as tonight's awards and scholarships. I'm very proud to be a Trojan. I've been a dentist for almost 8 years now. Time flies. I couldn't have picked a better career for myself. I love taking care of my community, and I love creating beautiful smiles. One thing I didn't expect was no one ever wants to come and see me. Unfortunately, that's definitely something that you encounter in dentistry, is no one really wants to come and be in your chair. But that is a rewarding part of my career as well, when you can turn something that is often feared into a pleasant experience, and they want to come back and see you. I'm thankful that I chose this career for the flexible work schedule that I can do. You know, God blessed us with 2 beautiful children, and one on the way, as Brandon said, and they're our world. So it's very important to me that I can be home with them and only work part-time right now while they're growing. In closing, my advice to young graduates would be to choose a career that you love and you're passionate about. If you choose something that you love to do, you'll be happy. And if you're happy, you're going to be successful in life. Thanks.
At this time, I ask Mr. Bud Terry, Chairman of the Barren County Alumni Association, to come forward and present the Alumni Scholarship and the Alumni Post-Secondary Scholarship.
I'd like to say it's a great evening, and we want to honor those students who also achieve great things here at Barren County High School. That's one of the things I'm most proud of is our Alumni Association wants to help the kids that are here in giving them scholarships. So one of the things that we did early on was decide to offer a scholarship for our graduates here at Barren County High School. And I'm really pleased that we do that each year. And hopefully in the future, one of our goals is to increase that number from 1 on up to 2 and 3 if possible. This year, our alumni scholarship goes to Brandon Reed. The other scholarship we discussed also was early on was that sometimes there's a lot of scholarships for the kids getting out of high school, but once they go into college or into vocational, expanding their education somewhere, there's not much help a lot of times out there. So the Alumni Association said we need to help those people too, and so I'm glad that we did, and we continue to do that. And so this year's one goes to Michael Thomas Belcher.
Our final inductee into the Hall of Distinguished Honor is Janice James, graduate of Park City High School, class of 1973. Janice grew up in rural Park City with her parents, brother, and sister. She credits her mother in particular for showing them, as she described, the importance of always moving forward and grabbing joy in life whenever it shows up. She attended Red Cross Elementary and graduated from Park City High School in 1973. She was very active in 4-H, cheerleading, track, softball, beta, and the drama club. Janice earned a bachelor's degree in recreation and social work from Western Kentucky University and worked as a social worker while working on her master's of science degree in recreation and a master's of public service in counseling from WKU. In 1984, Janice transferred to Eastern State Hospital to be a psychiatric social worker and began working on a master's degree in social work, which she completed in 1986. She continued to work at Eastern State for another 6 years, becoming the Director of Admissions. Janice has held several leadership positions within her professional associations and licensing board, even sharing her leadership skills and expertise on the national level as the president of the Association of Social Work Boards, which also includes Canada. In 2002, Janice joined the world-renowned Hope Center in Lexington, Kentucky, as the Administrative Deputy Director and the Director of the Recovery Program for Women. The Hope Center's motto is a way of life for Janice. We help, we heal, we give hope. While at Park City High School, Janice wanted to find a way to college, and once she found a way to college, she wanted to be in a profession that allowed her to help others and live out her Christian values. Janice won't deny there were struggles, but she said, sometimes you simply just have to keep putting one foot in front of the other. You have to get through the storms to enjoy the sunshine. Reflecting back on her own modest beginnings and her experiences in school, Janice credits teachers such as Joe Downing and Suzanne Waldrop and their very positive impact on her. Mr. Downing would go to great lengths to bring life experiences into the lessons, even driving students home who didn't have transportation after his drama club meetings. He even took them to see Jesus Christ Superstar way over in Murray, Kentucky, exposing them to a live production for the very first time. Janice remembers how Miss Waldrop made home economics fun for everyone, and she credits teachers like these for helping her build a strong foundation, a love of learning, respect for all, and their varying opinions and knowledge that one person can make a difference. Miss Waldrop said Janice had indeed made a difference. Actually, Miss Waldrop saw the potential in Janice when she was still a student at Park City High School. Janice was an exemplary, inquisitive student who worked hard and played hard, she said. To our students here with us this evening, this extremely successful career professional and world traveler offers this: enjoy the journey and know that you can change directions throughout it. Travel to unfamiliar places, especially to developing countries, as it will increase your gratitude and your empathy for others. She loves her family, friends, and colleagues, and feels blessed to have them in her life. She said she has benefited from their similarities, but also the differences they have shared. She is a proud graduate of Park City High School. It helped her build a solid foundation and value herself and others. She said it was a place that you could fit in no matter what your differences or income. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me as the Barren County Alumni Association welcomes Janice James into the Hall of Distinguished Honor.
Well, I'd like to thank everybody in the alumni for allowing me to be here. I'd like to thank my family and friends that surprised me and showed up from Louisville and from Bowling Green and those from Glasgow. And I'd like to thank Shay, my partner, who couldn't be here. And I'd like to thank, as I've already mentioned, my mother. She died 2 years ago, but she lives in my heart every day, because she showed me from a very young age, as I said, how to put one foot in front of the other. And she showed me that you got to go through valleys to get to mountaintops. And I've had a lot of valleys in life, but I've had so many wonderful mountaintops. And you can't appreciate those mountaintops if you don't walk through the valley first. Red Cross in Park City, great experience for me. You could be somebody when you were nobody. Didn't matter. Everybody got treated equal back then. And Mr. Walter, when he sent me my questions, I couldn't really identify any experiences that stood out because I had so many good ones. But obviously, Joe Downing showed up tonight and surprised me, and his efforts to educate us and give us a little culture at Park City by exposing us to drama was exceptional. And he remained a lifelong friend. And until I got this award, I got to show you the best award I ever had before that. This is my jersey that was retired at Park City between the halftime of a men's basketball game one time. Now, I got my leather jacket on. I did track and cheerleading because that's all they had to offer us back then, us girls. So, but I was okay at track, and my cheerleading buddies got me through because I didn't have a lot of rhythm. But I knew the rules of the game, so I could tell them when to do what cheers. So that was my value to the cheerleading team. But these shirts, some of you might remember the movie Billy Jack. He was a guy who was always defending the weak, and he didn't use a gun. He used karate and martial arts, but he always wore a black t-shirt. So all of us on the cheerleading squad, we practiced in our black t-shirts. And I shot a lot of basketball with the boys at breaks and sometimes at practice because we hung around there in this black t-shirt. And you probably don't, a lot of you remember, but Coach Sonny Oliphant, he was a force. And he got them to retire my jersey at halftime at a men's basketball game and gave me the nickname Gun James because I could hit three-pointers. I learned to play basketball with my brother and my sister because we were in the country, so I would play with his friends and we would play with them. And I never made it to get to play in high school basketball, but my should-be sister, Debbie Jones, and my sister, Joanna James, was on the 75 team that won the state championship. So at least she got to experience it. I went to Western, and I finally got to be on the basketball team. They started the first year of the women's basketball team, and I got to be on the basketball team there until they brought it for 2 years. And it was a great experience. But one of the reasons that I chose to do social work was because I wanted to be somebody in recreation because I love sports. So I got a master's in recreation. And I wanted to be in social work because I wanted to help people. It helped me live out what I thought was my motto in life, which is, except for the grace of God or a stroke of fate, there go I. It has been then, and it still is now. And it led me into social work, and it was the right match for me. And I have to thank my uncle. He's sitting out there now too. He encouraged me to take my first job at the Glasgow State ICL, and I had the best supervisor you could ever have. Is my aunt, Linda Hubbard. And from there, I can say I never had a bad job in social work. I loved every job I had. And I got to see a lot of people go through a lot of valleys and rise to mountaintops. Now, everybody doesn't make it, at least as far as I know, but they may make it later on. But boy, the ones who make it, you get a lot of rewards from that. And for the people, the kids here that are entering college, you've had so much good advice from the alumni, but to say one thing to remember is that one person, can make a difference. We know a lot about what helps others, particularly children who grow up in abusive, neglectful situations. And all the data says that one person can make a difference. And they have in my life. And so I try to keep giving that back to others. Joe Downey made a difference. Coach Oliphant made a difference. Suzanne Walder made a difference. My aunt and uncle, my brother and my sister, their family. So I had everything I thought I wanted. I lived a blessed life. I traveled all over the country with my ASWB degree. But I enjoyed my nephews. They were perfect nephews. They were the best you could ever have until one day they decided they wanted to throw me into the Atlantic Ocean, and it was very cold. And that's the only thing they ever did wrong. But it just made me, because they were so good, it made me want kids more. I'd always wanted kids, but I just never moved forward. And then when I was 50, I read this quote, and it says, "You don't regret the mistakes you make in life. You regret the things that you don't try." And I thought about, what regret would I have? And it was that I didn't have kids. So I thought I would try. And it has taken me to the highest mountaintop that I could ever imagine. I adopted Brenna when she was 8 months old and Anna when she was 3. And they are my mountaintops. So don't be afraid. Go for what you think you want. The mistakes won't matter. And if you get down in a valley, you can climb back up to that mountaintop. One more person I have to thank in my closing statement is Bud Terry. Now, I couldn't play basketball. They let me play a little baseball on the men's baseball team, but it led me into softball. And in softball, we were young, and Bud Terry's team, because he mentored and coached a lot of women. For years, he coached softball. And in the beginning, they always beat us. And then we got so we were beating them a lot. And he still let me receive this award, so thank you, Bud, for that. Thank you all. Go out and make a difference, and thank you to the Alumni Committee for this award.
How many of us could wear our Letterman sweater now? Wow. Impressive. Our final scholarship of the evening is the Cleo and Glenna Excellence and JROTC Scholarship. Bud Terry will make the presentation.
Gives me great pleasure on behalf of the Hogans, Wimpy instead of Cleo is what everybody calls him over Park City, so everybody will know. But it is, as a fellow Vietnam veteran, I'm extremely proud of to present this award tonight to Cadet Major Nathan Lyman. Let me see, did I get that right? I might have to put my glasses on. Lyman. Liberman. Okay. Sorry about that.
Here you go, Bud.
I should have put my glasses on first.
The eminent scholar, author, and leader of leaders, Warren G. Bennis, once said, "Excellence is a better teacher than mediocrity. The lessons of the ordinary are everywhere. Truly profound and original insights are to be found only in studying the exemplary." To our newest members of the Hall of Distinguished Honor, I say thank you. Thank you for allowing us to recognize you in this way. We hope all of you can feel our enormous respect and appreciation for each and every one of you. To our high-achieving scholarship recipients, you bear witness to the exemplar inductees among us here tonight. We hope you will study their careers as you carve out your own path to greatness, and one day you too may be standing at this podium as an inductee into the Barren County Alumni Association's prestigious Hall of Distinguished Honor. It's been a privilege to serve as your Master of Ceremonies this evening, and I thank you for that. WKU thanks you. Now, to end our evening of celebration, please welcome again Barren County Alumni Association Chairman Bud Terry back to the podium.
Thank you, Bill. On behalf of the Alumni Association, we certainly want to thank Mr. Walter, who does such a great job for us in every year by serving as our Master of Ceremony. He does a lot of work on it. He makes phone calls. He doesn't just read what we send him over there, but he goes out and does a lot of things. A couple of things before I get into this other part, but I've got a lot of stories on several of these people. I drank coffee with Danny Basil all the time, Mr. Campbell over there, and of course, Janice was talking about that. Now you think about my position as opposing coach over there, and I had to face Debbie Bunch, Joanna James, and Janice James all in a row. So we had our hands full all the way. But I will tell you this one short story about Mr. Campbell. He was very easily impressed. He brought it over, and in the second year I was here, we started building, I think. So my day consisted of getting to the bus garage early, doing a little paperwork, out to the schools where we were doing constructions during the day, and then come back in late in the afternoon doing more paperwork. One spring day, it was like almost 5. I was sitting at the office. I see Mr. Campbell come down by in his car. I see him stop, and he backs up, and he's coming in. I thought, wow, he's going to give me a big pat on the back. He sticks his head around the corner, says, I'm impressed, leaves and gets in his car and leaves. So that was my great pat on the back from him. But as Bill said, we want to thank everyone for attending tonight. We want to congratulate all the scholarship winners and you guys in the Distinguished Hall of Fame. It's a great honor for you. It's your night. We certainly appreciate y'all. And before I close, just like to say, Jackie, stand up. Jackie Knuckles is our everyday person. She gets everything together and keeps us going. And I just want to, again, on behalf of the Alumni Association, and one of the things you saw tonight, we're increasing the number of scholarships that are coming from some of our Hall of Honor recipients. So that is increased, and we certainly appreciate that. And we just say, have a great night. Thanks, everyone. Congratulations again.
Inductees and scholarship recipients, if you would come to the stage, please, for pictures. Thank you.
Thank you. Outstanding job. Bill Walter, be there. It's always a pleasure. You broke the mold, buddy. Good night. That's good. Yeah.
This has been a BCHS Live production. All rights to this broadcast are reserved to the BCHS Live program and the Burgundy Media Network. To rewatch this broadcast, log on to youtube.com/BCHS Live to watch this and every broadcast from BCHS Live. To keep up with what's going on at BCHS and to check in on all other media programs here at Barren County High, go to barrenschools.com/BMN and find out more. That's all we have for now. This is BCHS Live, signing off.